Well, I white knuckled myself through the writing of it too. It was a very straightforward experience in writing Salvage This World. After I got started, I had the very first sentence of that novel written for about 2 months. I don't know where it came from. I was just one day popped out my phone and I had this sentence in my head and I wrote it down. This image of this young woman standing with a kid on her hip, staring at an approaching storm, the dust whipping all around, and the sentence felt very loaded to me. Like I knew she was in some trouble, and I knew the weather was likely going to play a role again, and it just felt like there was this great sense of dread in that sentence. And then finally, I just sat down and tried to find out what she was going through and what was happening. And it started rolling pretty quick. But I tell you, the thing that really messed with me, but then also felt very rewarding, was that I realized on about page, I don't know, 12 or 13, that this was going to be a story about a father and a daughter. And I had never written that before, having two daughters. And I got to admit, it almost made me decide to do something different. But I've also learned that that thing that makes you a little uncomfortable is probably the thing you need to be chasing after and the thing you need to be facing up to. So that was the genesis of it, and we went from there. And the experience of writing it was very much like The Fighter. We talked about this some years ago with The Fighter, how that was such a propulsive experience. I'd never written a novel like that where I just kind of sat down and like I looked up 4 or 5 months later and it was done. Like I almost didn't even raise my head. And Salvage This World had a very similar writing experience for me too, which I didn't really expect to ever happen again.